Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. So I wanted to come on here because I'm a big movie person. I love actors. I'm an actor myself, so I wanted to come on here and do a whole video on, did the Oscars get it right? There was a big anticipation this year for the Oscars to be something different, something that was going to be all-inclusive, something that was going to be different than previous telecasts of the show, because it's been losing a lot of ratings and people have been bored and this, that, and the third. And I was going to come on here and talk about, did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? Did the right people win? But then this happened. Yes, the slap heard round the world, literally heard round the world, because you know the Oscar is telecasted all over the world because we nominate international films and the likes. So I have to come on here and just talk about the blatant unprofessionalism and the blatant disregard for the night at hand. It's not that it's just that it was the Oscars per se. It's just that it was a time where, you know, fellow actors and actors, other people in the film community, as well as the audience members that are sitting at home watching, were to come together and see and watch their favorite movies and their favorite actors and actresses walk away with the big prize, which is, you know, good old Oscar. However, the one thing that the Academy can be sure of for this year is that they will definitely be talked about for some time now. And they owe all of that to Will Smith. Will Smith, Big Willie style. Yes, they owe it all to him. And yeah, you hear the alarm in the background. That's the police coming to get Will Smith because he needs to be arrested for what happened tonight, because it was a travesty. I just have to say, I've always loved Will Smith. Leading up to tonight, I was rooting for Will Smith. I'm like, this is his year to win. He has been nominated in the past, and there's been a lot of criticism, you know, a la Jada Pinkett, you know, as far as him not getting nominated for Concussion. And tonight was his night. And of all nights, of all historic nights in his life, he decides to take his hand, take his 2 feet, and walk up to a man and hit him on live television for all to see across the world. I mean, Will runs the gamut. I mean, he has old fans, he has young fans, and they're all sitting there and watching him and rooting for him. And we leave poor Chris Rock up there befuddled, because it's like, I'm a comedian, Will Smith is a comedian, I made a slight joke, you know, let's get over it. And it didn't go that way, you know, but a lot of the reason why it kind of pissed me off is because it was a contradiction in error, as far as this was, you know, for all intents and purposes, your brother, per se. And we're always talking about Black unity and Black Lives Matter and this, that, and the third. And here you are, you have 2 famous people on stage, one person who is phenomenally more famous than the other, walking on stage and slapping another Black man in the face because he made a slight joke about the fact that Jada Pinkett had a bald head. Okay, so he made a joke, said, oh, you know, G.I. Jane Part 2 or whatever, I'm waiting for it, Jada, da-da-da. She rolled her eyes, as Jada does, because Jada is, in my opinion, she's turned into this succubus of a woman who dictates things, and she thinks that she is something that she is not. And the pedestal that she is put on is very much thankful to Will Smith. She would not have the Red Table Talk show. People would not even know who she is. She wouldn't even be casted to this day if it was not for Will Smith. She would have been done long time ago, back in the day when she did Woo and whatever other movies that she did that people have forgotten about. But like I said, the most troubling thing for me was the fact of the 2 people that it happened to. Because if this was a Jimmy Fallon or a Jimmy Kimmel or a Billy Crystal sitting up on that stage, hell, even Whoopi Goldberg sitting up on that stage, these are all previous Academy Award, you know, hosts. If they were on that stage presenting an award and they had happened to be making comments to people in the audience, which they have done for years since the inception of the Academy Awards. People have always thrown jabs because it's a long night and people just want to have fun and crack a laugh. And sometimes you might be the subject of that joke. But seemingly, Little Miss Virgo, Jada Pinkett, Didn't think so. Because if you did get a chance to see it, if you didn't, go ahead and pull it up on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure you will see it, how she rolled her eyes after Chris Rock made the comment. I'm sure that, we didn't see it, but she rolled her eyes. I'm sure she made a comment to Will, which then prompted Will to get up and then go and slap Chris in the face on live television. And for at first, for a glint of a moment, you may have thought that it was choreographed, that it was part of the staging. But then when you saw that the entire telecast went mute, that let you know that, okay, something is up. And, me, as well as everyone else that's in the room and everyone else that was watching television probably got to a point where they were like, they lost all taste and all senses, because he took the joy out of the rest of the night for everyone else, in my opinion. Because then it was turning from a joyous night. I mean, even in the in memoriam part, they always do these kind of morbid and slow ballads or whatever to kind of tribute the people that we have lost, entertainer-wise. But this night they had joyous music, sending people off the right way. It was a joyous night. It was just a different Academy Awards. And Will Smith took all of that away when he did what he did. And it was funny when he got up there. And the ironic thing is that it's so unfortunate that things like this cannot be switched up at the last minute. I'm sure they can. I'm sure there's a lot of politics that would have to go into play for something like that to happen. But me personally, I knew leading up to this, I knew Will Smith was going to win. But leading up to this, I was just like, okay, just because of that, I think they need to make an example of the fact that this is not acceptable. And they should have did one of two things. They should have either escorted him out of the building, because to keep him in the building means that you are promoting violence and that you are okay with violence. I don't care if it was a little slap or whatever. You're okay with the promotion of violence. And two, the other option could have been leave him in the room and switch the cards and give the Academy Award to someone else. I mean, it could have easily have went to Andrew Garfield or even Denzel Washington for the tragedy of Macbeth. But, because of the way the Academy nominations work, they had to keep it in tow. So he gets up there, and of course, as probably was expected by many, he does cry, because there were a lot of people rooting for him. This kind of reminds me of that situation with Tyra Banks. We were all rooting for you. And I think that's what everyone was saying in their head. Like, how dare you? Like, on the night that you are about to be celebrated, you decide to go against your better judgment and act like a buffoon on national television. So he gets up there, of course, as predicted. He wins the award, and he goes ahead and gives his acceptance speech. Nowhere there in the acceptance speech was there a public, on-air, live apology to Chris Rock for doing what he did. No, instead, he wanted to go ahead and talk about the fact that God put him on earth to love and to make people laugh, and that is his mission, and that is what he's been tasked to do. Kind of trying to push all the little issues and everything under the carpet about what really happened. I mean, the fact remains that he should have apologized to the Academy, to Chris Rock, and to everyone that was in that room, and to everyone that was watching the telecast. He should have apologized to everyone. In my opinion, as I said before in a previous video that we did on Jada and Will, Jada started it all. I'm sure that she was the triggering factor in him getting up and doing that, because that was very much outside of Will Smith's character. For the most part. I mean, we have seen Will Smith slap people publicly in the past. I mean, there was that moment where he was on that red carpet premiere for some movie, and some guy reached over and tried to kiss him, and he slapped the guy in the face or whatever, which may have been justifiable, but it's just like, come on, like that was your solution. But anyway, the fact that the Academy sat there and condoned violence, I mean, I think they easily could have still let Will Smith win the award, and it easily just, Will Smith is not here to present the award. We will accept this award on his behalf. And he can go ahead on the Red Table Talk or on his YouTube channel or on his damn Instagram page and do his acceptance speech there. Because we're always talking about these things that we want to do for our kids and what they should see and what they shouldn't see, and giving them the right examples. And this was, by all means, not a right example and not a good representation of the Academy Awards, not a good representation of public figures as a whole being able to do whatever they want and get away with it. In his speech, he said that Denzel Washington came over to him and told him before, he was just like, just be careful, because at your highest point, that's when the devil is going to attack you. And that's when the devil is really going to get in your way. And to some people, they would take the words of the wise, for lack of a better word, and take it to heart and be like, okay, let me be on guard. I feel like I'm on a high right now. I'm hearing his words. I'm going to follow through. But Will, he must have held on to it and then let it go. I mean, maybe he must have had like crazy amounts of lube in his hand, because all of that advice that Denzel gave him slipped right down the tube. Denzel told him, again, at your highest, that's when the devil is going to come for you. And in this night, in this moment, that's when the devil came for him, and he fell prey to it, and everything fell on deaf ears. And, you know, he tried to excuse it away by saying that, oh, you know, if you watch the movie King Richard, Richard Williams was very much, he was a forced defender of his family, and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. But if anyone has seen the movie, and if anyone has read anything on Richard Williams, the things that he had to go through in order to get his two black daughters to the highest of heights in a sport that did not recognize black talent is a feat in itself, and is a huge defense in itself. You getting on stage and slapping another man in the face because they said that they made a comment to your wife having short hair does not fall in the same definition of what Richard Williams did to create two of the most iconic athletes in world history. And some people may disagree. Some people may be like, oh, well, hey, he got up there and he defended his wife and he did what he was supposed to do. No, he didn't. Because any other time that Will has got up there, whether it's been scripted, whether it's been in a speech, whether it's been him hosting anything, whether it's been him on an Instagram page or whatever, he's always never made it a point or never made it an issue to talk down or talk about someone else in light of the fact that it's just a joke. But tonight, for some reason, you know, maybe he was taking himself too serious. Maybe the Smiths in general were taking themselves too serious, and he was just like, well, you're not going to disrespect my wife, so I'm going to get up there and I'm going to slap you, and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, and then you just got Jada sitting over there like she is some queen of some medieval kingdom, and her man came to her rescue, and they scorn this man, and he will be thrown to the dungeons and eaten by the wolves, and the dragons will burn him with their breath. Go sit down somewhere, Jada. Go sit down somewhere, because it's tiring. It's tiring. And this is the thing about Virgos. Virgos, they have this perfectionist thing about themselves to the point where they don't let anyone jab at them, because if they do, they crack, and it's like they fall under pressure, and then their little perfect bubble they create, it pops. And everyone that's around them feels that. And that's the same way Libras are. Libra men, specifically, Libra men have a crazy quality about them, a crazy trait about them that allows them to be kind of tick-tick-boom. They'll be like, oh, you know, laughy, 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 you know, running through the lilies and everything, this, that, and the third. But as I've always said, Libras are very delusional. They can be delusional. They can have their heads up in the clouds. And he had his heads up in the clouds tonight to think that he was being some forced defender and standing up for people who are in the position of being a celebrity, and the fact that, oh, people will come for you and people will make fun of you and people will point fingers at you and you have to just grin and bear it and smile and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, yeah, hello, like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. Like, had he said something else, you know, about Jada, you know, had he maybe said something about their entanglement that they made public knowledge on their Red Table Talk and Instagram to the entire world, then maybe I wouldn't be having this disdain for what Big Willie Style did. And then he kind of finished his speech off by saying, oh, love will make you do the craziest of things. And I don't think that it was love. I don't think it was love. I think that it was probably Will getting to a point where he was pushed up against the wall because they chose to make their relationship extremely public, to the point where everyone was throwing jabs and throwing their opinions into their relationship and the definition of their relationship. He probably got pushed up against the wall where he's just like, I'm tired of people pointing us out and putting the flashlight on us and making us, you know, out to be, you know, these disdainful people because of the things that have happened in our relationship and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, at the end of the day, Will, yeah, you've been in it. You've been guilty, as you have said, in your marriage as well. But you didn't make it as public, and you didn't make it as problematic as your wife did. And that in itself should have caused him to maybe take a second and be like, you know what? Okay, if I feel a certain way about this, let me catch Chris Rock at an event out and about. If I don't catch him out and about, maybe I send him a text, send him a message or whatever. We meet up for coffee and you sit down like two grown men and you be like, look, so what happened that night? Like, I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. You know, I you know, if you can, I would want you to apologize to Jada, but, you know, and apologize to me, because that really made me feel uncomfortable, this, that, and the third. And that could have been the way that he handled it. And I think tonight at the Oscars 2022, on March 27th of 2022, I think that Will Smith popped his own bubble. He popped his own bubble, and he showed kind of the dark side of him, you know, because he has a responsibility as a public figure to present himself as such to the people who see him as such. In his little private circlings of friends and family and things like that, go ahead and, you know, be who you are. Be your true self, this, that, and the third. But when you create a persona, you have to be careful to hold tight to that persona. It's kind of like what Carson Kressley was telling Todrick Hall on Big Brother, on Celebrity Big Brother, when he was just like, do whatever you need to do to play the game, but don't do it at the detriment of your brand. You have a brand, you have people who look up to you, people who look to you. So don't do something that is going to tarnish your brand. And tonight, Will Smith tarnished his brand, because this was not a scripted event. This was not, you know, an audition. This was on live television in front of millions of people and in front of his community. And I would have to say that I am a little upset. He took a taste out of my mouth, and he took a taste out of many people's mouths. But yeah, essentially this was the slap heard around the world. And the unfortunate thing about tonight, the unfortunate thing about the Ariana DeBose's and the Jessica Chastains and the Power of the Dog and Coda and Troy Koster, the unfortunate thing is that he robbed the light from all of them, because he made tonight all about him. Because people are going to talk about the fact that he won the Oscar, and people are going to also talk about the little kerfuffle that he had with Chris Rock on stage. So the only advice that I would have to say is, you know, you can shine a light on yourself, Will, you know, when you're in front of the camera, or when you're doing a commercial or doing a movie and you have your Will Smith laugh and your Will Smith smile. But when the lights are off and the true you is there, the one thing that you can be sure of is that the stars are always watching.